I was sent a video, and this video is from an anonymous tipster who is a game developer, and a friend of theirs who is also a game developer shared a video of their frustration trying to create a woman with modern creature tools like MetaHuman using the Unreal Engine. And for those of you that aren't familiar with how the Unreal Engine works, like it gives you some like basic stuff to begin with, and then you can form around that to create the final image of what you want. This person was saying that the basic image generator, the options, the default options that you're given are exactly the reason for the man jaw on all the women that we're seeing. And the video, they said it illustrates a lot of the problems that we see currently with feminine characteristics in video games today. And they said she was wondering if you don't mind sharing this video on your channel. Privacy is not a concern, as she is masking her voice with AI, or so she tells me. So please feel free to post this video as is. I also wish to remain anonymous as well. And I did some basic, very top level research on this person. I didn't dive too deep on it because the video itself was extremely telling. But take this for what it's worth, because I have not verified any of this at all. So this was just sent to me anonymously. And with that being said, I've watched this video and it's wild. All right, it's wild. We'll go with that. Here we go. So the audio is good.
I thought this was worth showing. This is the MetaHuman tool that Unreal Engine provides for creating realistic characters. And here's a woman I created recently, and I'm quite happy with her. But
she looks like a woman, right? Like you look at this, like, yeah, that's what a girl looks like. No questions here, no problems, right?
It's like there's a lot of detail, and I think the shape is really nice. Looks very appealing and
no
feminine.
Masculine jawline.
But you have to try, very hard to get her to look like this.
You have to try very hard to get her to look like this. AKA, the work that she put into this model was nowhere close to the default that they give you.
I had to do what's called the mesh to MetaHuman workflow, which is to import a custom mesh. You actually can't really create someone who looks like this from scratch using the characters they give you. They're actually a lot of them are actually quite ugly, I find. And so I have to use an alternate workflow to get in a different looking mesh to start with. And then,
so she's saying the mesh that she put on here was not the default one, and this was a lot of work to get it to look like this.
I can sculpt it to the way I want it. There's a funny little slider that they provide, which is basically to ignore the mesh that you use and to revert to using theirs. And it just shows.
You ready for this?
Shows you the total anti woman bias that's in tools like this, and that explains a lot. Like why is it that women look so ugly? And so like right now it's set to 1, which is using my mesh, and if I set it to 0 and using theirs, this is what they want to do. This is what.
Look at that. The whole face just kind of
turned off my mesh. Out. This is kind of what they think I want. It's just.
You see the difference there?
It's just the ugliest thing you've ever seen, I think. So let's just undo that.
Like that is a wild difference. Like it's not even subtle. It's like when I saw this video at first, I was expecting like a really subtle, like, oh, okay, I guess I can kind of see what she's talking about. She put it back to the defaults that they give. I was like, whoa.
I'll stick with her, but this really shows you just how god awful some of these I don't know what you want to call it. It's
so that's where the Abby conversation comes from. Exactly.
Like the ideology infested tool. I don't have any of these issues when I create a male character. I can create male characters all day and they look great, but it takes forever to make someone look like this. And this is what they want it to look like instead. Like, what the hell is this? This is disgusting.
Is that not insane? And the effort it takes. Look at the difference there. Oh, hold on. That's the end. That's what she did to it. So here's the problem with the Unreal Engine is if you have a woke ideology artist, designer creating the defaults that you as a different developer would have to work around, you need to change what that original creator made to format the face to make it look like a woman. So what this person is arguing here is the root problem of the jawline has been exposed, and it comes as the default from Unreal Engine themselves. The mystery has been solved, if this is to be believed. And I have very little reason to think otherwise. And like I told you guys before I started talking about this, I'm like, this is going to be talked about. This is a big deal. When I saw this video come through, I was like, whoa, hello, anonymous tipster. What? This is crazy. This is crazy. And you would think it stops there, right? You're like, man, that's pretty bad. That's pretty extreme. We have some other defaults to look at and some pictures to review, but I need to open these in new tabs to create anonymity of the person. So hold on one second. Let me get these set up. So here's the first one. This is a default woman in Unreal Engine. And you can see some of the other ones as well. So let me know what you guys think about these and your feeling of them. And we also have this one as well. Noticing anything about the jawline specifically? Crimson jaw. So it works fine for the men, obviously. But the women, it's a clear issue with. Hold on a second. In terms of fidelity, metahumans are industry leading. You can see like every pore, the wrinkles, the blemishes, the light reflections, the shadows. But the characters that are given to the developers are supposed to be used as a starting point. But the problem is they're really ugly and unappealing to anyone that actually cares about what a woman should look like. I think this one's a really good example of that too. So, I mean, I understand the frustration with a base developer trying to work with what they give you as default and then saying, no, I don't want my chick to have a gigantic jaw with peach fuzz all over her face. I would like my woman to actually look cute. So let me work at this. And to do that, you need to put effort and time to sculpt, mold, and change the wireframe of the face. And as that developer was explaining, it was a lot of work. It's not something that you can just click a button and do. Now, this anonymous person that shared this with me said they would say if Epic Games were to have a counter argument, they would say something along the lines of, we're trying to be inclusive. This is how real people look, which may be true, but how is that fun and appealing to someone playing a video game? It's fascinating. It's fascinating. And you would think it ends there, but no. I got one more thing to talk about with this because I saved the best for last. You guys think that the face was bad. Let's talk about the default bodies in Unreal Engine and the actual massive, massive issue that we're dealing with here. You ready for the default body of the this is the female. This is the female, and I'm not joking. This was shared to me privately. This is the default body in Unreal Engine. No words are needed. I don't even know what to say. It's totally devoid of any kind of features, zero chest at all. The butt is a fucking square and like weirdly flat. And this is the default featureless female body using the Unreal Engine. So I think we found our problem, fellas. And this is where it starts. There's only one thing to say.
You're on a fucking roll, bro.
She's flat. She's flat.
All right.
She's flat. Melanie flat.
Flat. That is the ideal female form according to Unreal Engine. So yeah, any questions, guys? Because this is going to be the story of tomorrow. I'm telling you guys right now. I already know. I've been doing this long enough. When something like this gets sent to me, I'm like, yeah, this is.
I thought this showing this is the metahuman tool
This
that
is wild.
Unreal Engine provides for creating real.
Kira says, "What is the default male body?" I do not know. These are just the images that were shared to me by an anonymous developer. And again, this goes back to the point of when I make my videos frustrated about the direction of the game industry, it's only from a certain perspective of I'm frustrated with lazy developers that don't want to give the effort a female form deserves when they're making their game, either by lack of talent or because they see themselves in the default form, so it makes them happy and they go with that. I don't know which one's worse, to be honest. But when I saw this, it reminded me of there are base developers out there that are like, no, screw that. I want to make a good female character. I'm going to put the work in and make this look great. And it's going to take me a lot of extra work, but I'll do it. I'll do the base mesh. I'll change the base mesh wireframe face to incorporate the features of what I feel like the actual female form should look like. But you can tell just by looking at this, the sheer amount of effort that goes into not only just changing the facial structure, but the features itself to make it look like a woman. Instead of just plastering a image of a person on top of it, they actually changed the shape itself. And the defaults are set to such a ridiculous angle that it makes everyone in your game default to looking like a dude or a chick that is trying to trans and look like a dude. None of them actually look like women. So it's a major problem. It's a major problem. And this is something that needs to be addressed by Unreal, if this is to be believed. But yeah, it's a wild situation. And this is something that I think is going to need a lot of attention by the community. And when I saw this come through today, I'm like, oh boy, I don't know how I'm going to handle this one. This is a big one. I'm like, I'll talk about it on my stream tonight, but holy crap. I don't even know where to start with this because it explains so much. It explains so much. it answers a lot of questions and frustrations that people have. And the next step is, what is Unreal going to do to address the community's frustrations? Because for the longest time, I think YouTubers and gamers alike were blaming, and rightfully so, by the way, blaming the developers for being lazy, which is true. But I think it goes one step beyond that, where it's like, well, yes, the developers are lazy because they're using their base wireframe models of Unreal. So if you dig a little bit deeper and say, well, why are the wireframe models looking like that? You got to look at Unreal and say, what are you guys doing? So Kira says, it's the base women in the gaming industry that will have to stand up against this to correct it. 100%. Isn't it ironic, by the way, that this video gets leaked by a woman? That should speak volumes for the current environment of the game industry. But yeah, that was basically all I had to say about that. But it's a wild situation. It's a wild situation. And I'm curious to see what happens with the fallout after unveiling this. Yet another Smash JT exclusive.